Hey gamers, it's time for another top 10. As voted for by the fans on Twitter, we have my top 10 games that I'd like to see come back. And I don't just mean mobile downloads of the original games, I mean an actual return or remake, especially if they're like that return of Wonder Boy and the Dragon's Trap. With that in mind, let's get underway. So number 10 is Kid Chameleon. This classic platformer made its mark mostly by the amount of different powers that Casey could acquire throughout the game, with it just recently being re-released on mobile along with the other Sega Forever themed games. I am hoping this might gain it some traction for a return. So number 9 is The Lost Vikings. It was good enough to get a sequel and then seemed to just fade from existence. I used to own the Amiga version when I was a kid and I loved the puzzle mechanic of each Viking having a different strength. I was never very good, but I always enjoyed it, and I think a new generation would benefit from its tricky puzzles and amusing setting. So number 8 is Zool. So this is another platformer that was released across multiple formats. Anyone that's been following my antics on Twitter will know that a while ago I picked up both games off eBay without having an Amiga to play them on. Anyway, I love the comic stylings of the game, and with the code wheel anti-piracy measures and a character like Mental Block, how can you not love it too? You can also get around the Chupa Chups branding licensing issue by just removing it. A bit like Team 17 did with Super Frog HD and Lucozade. Speaking of Team 17... Number 7, Body Blows Galactic. So I did once ask Team 17 on Twitter if there was any chance of this coming back on its anniversary. I even suggested that they added Super Frog and Boggy Bee from Worms as extra characters. Sadly, doesn't look like it will ever return. I mean, I know it wasn't a great game, but it holds a special place for me as being one of the first one-on-one fighters I played back in the day. I honestly believe, if done right, the crazy selection of characters in the game would make it stand out amongst all the other Street Fighters and Mortal Kombats in the world. Let's be honest. Number 6, the Chaos Engine. There's so many post-apocalyptic games on the market these days that we don't really need another one. This being in the right hands though could turn out to be fantastic. I mean, think like the Fallout series mixed with something like Prey, separated into levels rather than being massive open worlds though. How can you not love that alarm klaxon of a theme tune? Number 5, Bloody Roar. It's another one-on-one fighting franchise that I do have a soft spot for, and I feel really needs to come back. The beast transformations were a really cool idea, and you can imagine what they'd be like if added to something as visceral and gory as Mortal Kombat. Whoever owns the license on this since Hudson Soft folded, please, just let NetherRealm have a go. So, number 4 is Earthworm Jim. I think most 90s kids remember Earthworm Jim, either from his kick-ass, if a little weird games, or the cartoon show that went along with it. I honestly wonder what the creators of this series were on when it was devised, and quite frankly where I can get my hands on some. Jim didn't exactly make the move to 3D very well when it first happened, but time has proven that people still enjoy the classics, and they still enjoy 2D games these days. Admittedly, a lot of that statement comes from the indie scene, but the fact is still there. Jim needs to come back. Number 3, Road Rash. I mean, the ratings board would have a field day with this, and I imagine that the world's media would instantly blame any biker crashes and fatality on this game, but dear God, we need another Road Rash. We've plenty of driving sims and arcade races, but we don't have enough bikers beating the hell out of each other with pipes and chains. Come on EA, I'd even forgive microtransactions in this if it came back. Number 2 is Streets of Rage. Now this is one of my all-time favourite games from my childhood. So much that I bought the 3D versions on the 3DS when they came out. I could have had Golden Axe at this point on my list, but I didn't know. Another one that could come back in a more classic 2D style rather than being brought into the 3D realm, especially as a 3D version, would probably result in something like Tekken Force Mode on Tekken 3. So, I've given this an honourable mention because other than a game called Oscar that I had on the Amiga, I've never seen a game from that era so obviously make itself out to be some sort of stage show. The characters are insane and show some great originality with some brilliant artwork and power-ups thrown in. I also like to think Heady in some way influenced Rayman. Probably almost definitely not, but it's a nice thought. And number 1, Time Splitters. Disagree with me, I dare you. I know there's an unofficial project in the works, but as far as I'm concerned, Time Splitters 2 is the only true competitor to GoldenEye on the N64 for local multiplayer shooter fun. The selection of multiplayer characters was random to say the least. A gingerbread man, a fishbowl on a robot body, and of course the monkeys. Couple this multiplayer greatness with an interesting sci-fi storyline that sends you to all different times and locations, and you're experiencing one of my favourite shooters to date. This is the sort of thing that Overwatch wishes it was. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty more than 10 games I'd like to see come back, and the more thought I put into it, the longer that this list gets. But these are the ones that I can really see getting somewhere with today's gamers. As always, thanks for watching the video, and I look forward to seeing people's comments on my choices. Take care of yourselves, and don't neglect that little red subscribe button.